In an hour from now, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be meeting US President Joe Biden at the White House. The meeting will revolve around how India and the US can further enhance their bilateral relationship and jointly improve their strategic global partnership. According to Indian Foreign Secretary Harsh Shringla, the Afghanistan crisis, as well as issues pertaining to the Indo-Pacific as part of the Quad and the threat of terrorism in the region, are some of the key issues that will surface in the discussion. The two leaders are also expected to discuss how to strengthen defence and security collaboration further, boost a strategic clean energy partnership, and improve bilateral trade and investment ties, and explore new avenues in emerging technologies.
At their bilateral meeting on the 24th of September, the Prime Minister and President Biden will review the robust and multifaceted India-US bilateral relationship. They will also discuss how the comprehensive strategic global partnership between our two countries can be enriched further.
Earlier, a senior official of the US government said that the bilateral will give President Biden a chance to review the US strategic partnership with India, commit to upholding a free and open Indo-Pacific by working together with India, direct joint efforts for a global solution to the COVID-19 pandemic, and address the climate crisis. Let's go across live to WION's principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibal, who is joining us from Washington, D.C., and WION correspondent Susan Tehrani, who's joining us from New York. Coming to you first, Siddhant. What can we expect from this first face-to-face meeting between Prime Minister Modi and President Biden, and what are the commitments that India is looking for from the Biden administration?
Well, a lot of focus areas when it comes to the Indian Prime Minister and US President Joe Biden's meeting. But before that, I'm standing in front of the White House, and the Indian diaspora has come in full force to welcome the Indian Prime Minister. Lot of electrifying atmosphere, and these people are here to welcome the Prime Minister. Most of you are Gujaratis, I believe. How do you plan to welcome the Indian Prime Minister? So can you do a small one? So a lot of excitement, lot of people here chanting the usual Modi Modi chants, which we have seen across the world when the Indian Prime Minister is welcomed. But talking about the visit of the Indian Prime Minister, the D-Day has finally arrived. The meeting in which both the leaders will be talking about issues like Afghanistan, counter-terrorism, Pakistan support to terrorism. These are the key issues when it comes to the bilateral that will happen between the two leaders shortly. This will be the first in-person meeting. Both leaders have already spoken to each other 3 times. They have been part of virtual summits, but essentially at the heart of this relationship between India and the United States is the Indian diaspora which has come in full force to welcome the Indian Prime Minister. Let's take a small reaction from the people present here. How do you feel the Indian Prime Minister here in United States?
It's been a pleasure. Last time when Modi ji came on 2017, he had come to meet with President Barack Obama at that point of time, and already had strengthened a lot of relationship between the two countries. And we feel that ties continues on, and no matter who the new leader or the president is, Modi ji continues to bring that aura from India and bring it all around. With his response to the COVID, he has put now India as on the front page of the world, and show how we can do it, and how we can show and not only learn, but how we can teach other nations how to cope up with things.
So message from the Indian diaspora here. There are 4 million members of the Indian diaspora, the Indian American and Indian origin people, and they essentially forming the living bridge between the two countries.
Well, thank you, Sudan, for that. Turning now to Susan Tehrani in New York. Susan, how do you see the Biden administration and the Modi government working more closely to meet the various challenges emerging from, say, climate change to the pandemic and to terrorism?
Absolutely. This is also a very key meeting for President Joe Biden and his administration as well, because a meeting with Prime Minister Modi is really a cornerstone in shifting the Biden administration's strategy and what it calls away from the traditional long wars and alliances and traditional alliances, perhaps, and moving it instead towards new emerging alliances and countering the fast rising foe like China. It will discuss climate change. You know, that issue is definitely going to come up with the meeting with Prime Minister Modi. Afghanistan as well. We know that India is going to be very concerned and would want to learn more about the botched withdrawal of the United States from Afghanistan and the power vacuum that's left right now there, as are most countries right now, and whether or not and what country will probably take the place of the United States. Will it be China? Will it be others as well? But also, I think it's important to note that that India really is in the framework of the Quad, and the United States hopes to work with India not only in terms of maritime security in the Indo-Pacific region, but also wants to bring up the issue of vaccines as well, and working together in fighting the COVID pandemic. I think that's front and center. It was on everyone's mind here at the UNGA. President Biden really focused on that here, and I think he's going to take that message with Prime Minister Modi, and I think Prime Minister Modi is going to welcome that as well. 5G, cybersecurity, intelligence, there is really no shortage of cooperation on that front. I think something that analysts here brought up was whether or not President Biden is going to bring up the issue on trade and tariffs. We'll have to see what will happen on that front. We know that President Trump, President Biden's predecessor, said that the Prime Minister Modi was a, quote, tough negotiator. So we'll have to see what comes out of that in terms of trade and tariffs.